Hello everyone and welcome to another high elo game of Age of Empires. Today we're in a bit of a food coma after a particularly delicious pepperoni pizza and ready to watch Vivi playing as the Blue Poles take on Mr. Yo playing as the Red Aztecs. Now while the players herd their herdables, explore their immediate surroundings, and try to go up to Feudal as fast as possible, let's take a look at the Civ matchup we'll be watching today. Now, the Poles are a civ that focuses primarily on its cavalry. Their scout cavalry line units get a small attack bonus versus archers and can be upgraded to do trample damage, which is very, very helpful in the late game since the Poles are one of the only two civs in the game to have their hussars replaced with winged hussars, which are already tankier, stronger, and come with an attack bonus against gunpowder units and an even bigger attack bonus against monks. Now, if you're in the mood for a heavier cavalry unit, the Pole Knights and Cavaliers can actually be upgraded to cost a lot less gold, so it essentially becomes much easier to spam these units starting in Castle Age. Now, to back up their cavalry units on the field of battle, the Poles can field a very interesting, unique unit, the Obuch. This is a tanky, well-armored infantry unit whose attack actually reduces the melee and pierce armor of its opponents by 1 with every single swipe of its giant warhammer. Now, to support production of their food and gold intensive cavalry units, Pole stone miners also generate gold. Pole farmers have access to a unique structure called the Folwark, which replaces the mill and automatically adds 10% of a farm's value that is seated within its radius to your coffers. And lastly, Pole villagers are harder to raid because, like Viking berserkers, they do regenerate HP from the very beginning of the game. Now, taking on our Blue Poles, we have Mr. Yo as the Red Aztecs. This is a civilization of warrior monks. Aztec monks gain 5 hit points for every tech that's researched, so a fully upgraded Aztec monk comes with a massive 95 HP compared to the usual 30. Now, to help defray the cost of the gold required to upgrade your monks all the way up to the end of their upgrades, any relic collected by the Aztecs generates a third more gold. Now, on the battlefield, to support their warrior monks, all Aztec military units are produced faster. Aztec skirmishers can be upgraded to have extra range and attack, and their infantry can be upgraded to have a massive general attack boost of +4, which is great because the Aztec unique unit is the Jaguar Warrior. This is I would say, a middle of the road infantry unit, but it comes with a massive +10 elite version +11 attack against other infantry. Now, to support the Aztec military industrial complex, Aztec villagers carry 3 extra resources from the very start of the game, and they start the game, if you take a look at the top right of your screen, with 50 extra gold. So what that means is Aztecs either get loom basically for free, or they can build 2 militias for free in the beginning of the game for some scouting, some extra harassment, whatever it is the players want to do. Now, while I've been talking about the civilizations, both players equally sitting at 16 villagers apiece, 1 military unit being their scouts. Let's take a look at the map. Let's see if any particular player is advantaged or disadvantaged over their opponent. Mr. Yo is Mr. Open over here. Take a look at this base. No immediate way to wall this off in any kind of safe manner. I mean, you can try to wall off the west, but this giant opening is very, very far away from your hometown, and so if it comes under attack, you best have some villagers here to help defend. The south, completely open. The north, nice and closed off, although might do well to explore here a little bit and see that there is a gap of 1 tile that needs to be shut off. So I actually don't mind this forest here to the north of his base. Vivi, as we see on the minimap, immediately starting to wall off his base. Also very, very hard to wall off. These wall offs are very far from the town center, which means that any kind of attack has to be responded to basically instantaneously. Otherwise, he risks losing access, or rather risks his opponent accessing his base. I'm going to zoom out. Apologies to anyone on a smaller screen. Take a look at the giant piece of map that Vivi has just carved out for himself. This is, I would say, a good, 6th, 7th of the map? That's bonkers. Oh, and let me show you the Folwark. The second you click on it, a radius appears. Again, any farm seeded or reseeded inside this zone automatically 10% of that farm's value gets added to your coffers. Very cool feature. Love to see the inclusion of economic buildings in this game. Lastly, let's take a look while the players are a minute away from Feudal, both actually going up at almost the exact same time. Let's take a look at where the resources are located. Vivi's primary gold to the north, primary stone nice and secure in the back. Mr. Yo, primary gold very secure in the back, primary stone very exposed. Would do well, I think, to take this hill, maybe a house, some kind of structure here to keep his opponent away from this hill to get the high ground for any kind of attack. For now, using the extra gold that he has available to him because he is the Aztecs, has built 3 militiamen, and they are making their way very, very slowly with their billy clubs to Vivi's base. But as Mr. Yo will discover, Vivi is already 5 steps ahead here, having walled off the entirety of his base. The question is, if Mr. Yo attacks into here, I mean, Vivi's reaction time is great. The house goes down immediately, but take a look at this Mjolnir-wielding villager and how long it takes her to get all the way over here. By the time she gets here, Mr. Yo can pivot and attack somewhere else, and we'll see exactly how he plans on defending the perimeter of his base. For now, Vivi, what has he seen of his opponent? He's seen basically the entire location of Mr. Yo's base. Has not yet he has discovered this mining camp over here. Mr. Yo, choosing not to Viper Wall himself in, knows that this one scout who has to be very careful. It's Feudal. It attacks on a 5. If it gets surrounded by villagers, it will die very fast. Mr. Yo has seen the southern perimeter of his opponent's base and the eastern, I guess a part of the eastern portion of his base, and now is trying to bust his way in with 3 men-at-arms and an eagle. That's going to take a while. Vivi very quickly reacts, building a secondary backup palisades over here. Remember, these aren't cumin palisades. They're the basic 250 wood, or rather 250 hit points, as opposed to the extra 33% that the cumins get. This all the time when there's structures on hills, you have to have a very keen eagle eye to make sure that they are in fact enclosed. Okay, defensive tower going by down for Vivi. He does not want to jeopardize his full work or any farms that are inside of its radius. Right clicking very much to make sure the villager at least constructs a little bit. But the question is it too little too late? The bigger question is, will Mr. Yo even make an issue of it now that there's a tower going up here on the high ground? Red dots streaming all over the map. Blue dots have streamed but stopped. Vivi, I guess, exploring the map. Take a look at his map vision. He's seen a good chunk of the map. What has Mr. Yo seen? Almost nothing. Mr. Yo essentially has seen the path of attack that he wants to take to his opponent. And frontiers be damned. Northern frontier, southern frontier, doesn't matter. He is not here to gather relics, although he probably should as the Aztecs. He is not here to locate extra stone, extra gold, extra wood. He wants to know where his opponent is so that he can immediately just start sending units, more red dots streaming across the map. A few archers are going to make defending this attack very annoying for villagers, but has to be careful. These scouts eat archers for breakfast. This one pays the price, falls to his death. And now the scouts are back. They will get, should get one more archer. Remember, they can maneuver around these men-at-arms for days, but if they're caught by the men-at-arms, oh, watch out. Not a lot of hit points on the scout cavalry, only 45. Mr. Yo wisely stops his attack, sees that his opponent is creating secondary, tertiary wall-offs, and decides against investing any more resources into trying to attack him. Although now Vivi busting through his own gate here comfortably, I might add, because of this tower. No real reason to wall this off again, although it would do well maybe to place a house here. You never know. He's, oh god, he's already got enough room for 30 more supply, so not in need of houses anytime soon. His opponent, though, 13 supply away from needing more houses, building a market. Okay, both players tentatively exploring the outer reaches of each other's bases, both of them trying to do something. Oh, sneaky, but no, a jungle shrub gets in the way. I hope there's something behind this. Yes, a palisade. And now Vivi realizes he can't get in. But again, what is Mr. Yo going to do if this comes under attack? Not terrible. There's a villager fairly close by, but he's now under attack here as well. putting on the pressure himself, though. And this is the annoyance of having archers with your feudal army. Any villager that tries to come forward will get tickled away at until he or she eventually dies. But with a tower, another tower, Vivi stops all aggression while he himself is now putting on the aggression. But no ranged units here means that this palisade is going to get repaired very comfortably and very safely. Maybe a fourth scout would do well to come in. And let's see, with a fourth scout, is he able? No, he's still, one villager is still able to repair. Oh, Mr. Yo, poking and prodding with a spear does get a whole bunch of HP down, but the scouts manage to escape. Both players being incredibly annoying to each other. Not to us, of course. We love seeing all this kind of stuff. Mr. Yo, though, first to go up to castle. Not a surprise here. The extra 3 resources that they carry really does give the Aztecs a nice Dark Age bonus boost when it comes to their economy. Although the Vivi with the full works also gets a bunch of food bonuses right from the get-go. Okay. And now both players disengaging. Both players really just poking and prodding. I think trying to keep tabs on each other's armies, trying to keep tabs on each other's economies while they try to go up to castle. Vivi balancing his economy, as you can see on the left side of your screen. Very fancy schmancy way of saying he's selling a bunch of stuff and buying a bunch of other stuff so that he can afford the 800 food, 200 gold required to go up to the next age. Mr. Yo being very good with this one spearman who keeps shooing away 4 scouts. I mean, they can engage into this. He might lose a scout, might lose 2 if he's not careful, and Mr. Yo picks the weaker scout to engage into, but he will get that scout if he wants to. But another one to the south. Oh, Mr. Yo moving forward with 2 villagers, 20 seconds away from castle. No villagers on stone. Economically, he is behind, having gone to castle first. Vivi having the luxury of building a few extra villagers while he waits for his resources to gather. And now let's see what Mr. Yo decides to do. Siege workshop. Okay. Blacksmith going down for our blue pole. Let's take a look at while the players kind of gather themselves. Let's see what kind of production structures we're working with here. Our pole, our cavalry civilization, has 1 barracks and 1 stable. Mr. Yo, aside from this siege workshop, okay, building a monastery with the Ark of the Covenant ready to be placed inside its secret hiding place there. But back home, what does he have? A barracks, an archery range, a blacksmith. And that's essentially it. So Mr. Yo posturing very much. I don't see any more red dots streaming across the map, which tells me that this is the army he wants to go with, at least for the moment. Monks coming out for him. Like I said, Aztecs, you should expect to see monks. You are playing against a monk-heavy civilization. Arguably some of the best monks in the game, to be honest. I mean, other civs have a lot of bonuses related to monks, but having your monks have 95 HP when fully upgraded. And by the way, Aztecs have access to all upgrades for their monks, so it's a pretty bonkers tech tree for them. And when I say bonkers, I mean pretty rich. They have a very strong monk tech tree. But there are other civs where, you know, the gold cost is changed to, I believe, food. And so monks essentially become a trash unit, and other civilizations where the monks have extra HP. I leave it up to you guys to decide which monks are quote-unquote the best in the game. But like most games, I don't think there is one right answer. Although, having said that, I literally 5 seconds ago said that the Aztec monks are the best, although probably should have said some of the best. We are getting sanctity. We are getting fervor. Monks will have more HP. They will move faster. And take a look at the HP now. We're up to 50. The second fervor finishes should be up to now 55. So in addition to the 15 extra HP that you get by researching sanctity, because he researched 2 techs, that's 5 HP apiece. So that's an extra 25 from the base of 30. That's the incredible fun part of the Aztec monks. Are we seeing obuchs out of our blue pole? Okay. That's definitely an interesting choice when you're facing off against the Aztecs. I mean, the Jaguar Warrior is an insane unit to take on. I think the Jaguar, the Samurai are the only 2 infantry units in the game that can actually stand toe-to-toe with the Teutonic Knight, which if you ever played against the Teutonic Knight and tried to go melee, you know exactly how poor that goes, or how badly that goes. But the Jaguars, again, able to take them on, maybe not one-on-one, maybe not, you know, an exactly a perfect exchange basis, but yeah, they can definitely handle a Teutonic Knight. For now, converting a Scout Cavalry, and now we have our first Aztec Cavalry of the game. Remember, they do not have any stable units. They do not have any cavalry upgrades whatsoever. Now, well, I was going to say with a little asterisk, a little caveat, that if they convert a stable, they can build their version of a knight. Oh, I want to call it a Shotol warrior, or I'll figure out the name at some point. It'll come to me, but I think the X is pronounced like an SH. And now a second town center going down for our poll. A second town center been up for a while for our Aztec player, while I've been blabbing on about Teutonic Knights, which have zero bearing on this particular game. Mr. Yo with the military lead, but behind on villagers. Let's see how he plans to attack into this. The castle basically negates these mangonels, but the blacksmith, I don't know why I keep saying stable, the blacksmith, this town center, potentially under massive amounts of pressure from the mangonels. I'm surprised our poll is not going cavalry, which is an interesting choice here, but whether he's doing it by choice, whether they decided to have fun with this game, who knows? All I know is that it's going to be a lot of fun to see these obuchs. What they do is, again, they, with every swipe of their warhammer, reduce your armor, both melee and pierce, by 1. And by the way, that damage is permanent to your armor, so you can actually have negative armor until the monk heals you, or until you garrison your unit inside a structure. 30 seconds away from Imperial is Mr. Yo, very much ahead of his opponent, who is nowhere freaking close. But in come the obuchs. So let's see how they can do here. How they do, rather, not how they can do. We know exactly what they can do with those hammers. Okay, Mr. Yo doing well with his monks. Mangonel's coming back. Should shoo away these obuchs pretty well, but fairly bad trade for both players. Or rather, an equal trade. What do you have? Block printing, so the monk is going to have extra range and illumination. The monks are going to be regenerating their faith. I think it's almost twice as fast, not exactly, but almost twice as fast. And take a look, when these two finish researching, the monk's HP will jump to a 65, which is still, by the way, not fully upgraded. 65 HP on a monk is just funny and bonkers. A second castle going down for Vivi, who is getting bloodlines. Okay, so he it looks like he is interested in making the transition into cavalry. The question is, what cavalry? Remember, the Poles can turn their knights into basically a 2-for-1 unit with Schlachter privileges. I think it reduces the gold by 60%. So 75 gold becomes 30. And then you can really, really nicely start spamming your knights and your cavaliers. It would be very unfair if Poles got paladins. So the developers wisely chose not to give them that particular unit. Oh my god, we've got a turkey of death here, just staring down this palisade, willing it. This is oh, what was the name of the what was the name of that CIA operation where they tried to use mind control? Oh my god, all of my conspiracy theories that I used to know completely leaving my mind. It's not Operation Paperclip. No, that's the post-World War II one. I'll remember it. But in any event, this turkey trying to use mind control to knock this palisade wall down. Obuchs fighting behind. We see their outlines as they slam into each other with their giant hammers. Blue takes the fight handily, but not too much for Obuchs are going to do over there. One more whacking at this barracks. Okay. Players essentially disengaged from each other, although Mr. Yo, take a look. He's built himself a nice infrastructure up top here of siege and monks. Built himself a nice infrastructure pile over here as well with 2 monasteries, a siege workshop, and a barracks. He is making himself at home. He is putting up his feet and getting comfortable. No way is he going to be dislodged, says he. But Vivi going into light cav, now getting infantry upgrades. Okay. So he wants his obuchs to be able to knock down structures much better with the arson upgrade, although should lose one, if not both of these mangonels. Mr. Yo, this is the last of his siege here. He has converted 5 obuchs. We've got 5 Aztec obuchs. Always fun to watch. plus a bunch of 5 light cav. I mean, take a look at that. He's basically stolen 10 army supply from his opponent. It would have been 27 to 15 if not for those monks. So that is the incredible power of the Aztec monk. Now Mr. Yo building a very aggressive castle here under a lot of pressure, under a lot of fire from obuchs, from light cav. But okay, Vivi retreats. I thought he would contest this a little bit more, but with all these monks here, how many monks for Mr. Yo? 11 monks in production, 9 on the field already, and the castle goes up. Now Vivi is in trouble. Now Vivi has been rather pushed back to the north, has been pushed back to the eastern portion, but what Mr. Yo has failed to do is dislodge him from his primary gold. Is he mining secondary gold? Not just yet. So this is going to be a problem for Mr. Yo. He needs to knock Vivi off of this gold. Otherwise, he's going to find himself staring down the barrel of a night cannon. Or maybe not. Vivi seems to be hell-bent on going obuchs. And look at Mr. Yo's army. It's so diversified that he needs 2 rows on capture age in order to be able to see all of it. The first treb is out. Vivi nowhere close to going Imperial, so this castle is in a lot of trouble. Another castle going down for Mr. Yo. What is he circling here in the bottom with? Oh, these men-at-arms are still around for minute, 2 of the game. Oh my god, these monks being so annoying. What's their HP at now? 70 HP for these monks. Oh, you love to see it. 1 man-at-arms trying to alone stop production of this town center, but the action remains to the north, the northeast of Vivi's base, although he has managed to draw a huge chunk of Mr. Yo's army out of position with 5 simple light calves sitting at below half their health. Very interesting play here by Vivi, and Mr. Yo falling for it, takes the bait and sends a bunch of his army away. But does it even matter? He's got 2 castles, he's got 2 trebs, he's got 9 monks. Finally, we're seeing some Jaguar warriors with their amazing clubs, their toothed clubs that they have. And take a look, I'm going to highlight one. Plus 10 attack against infantry. So every swipe, by the way, makes one of the coolest sounds in the game. Let's see if we can hear it. No, decides to retreat with them. Castle going down for Vivi gives Mr. Yo basically an entire area of operation here that is not contested. What the hell are these obuchs doing down south over here with these light cav? Are they planning a cheeky runaround? Mr. Yo sees it almost immediately, though. Oh yeah, you love to hear that sound. Oh, now we've got what we came here to see. Obuchs versus Jaguar warriors. One with a massive attack boost against infantry, one reducing the armor of its opponents. Not exactly the hardest hitting unit in the game, attacking right now on a 10. But it doesn't really have to be honest. If you get your opponent's armor down to 0, down to negative, redemption being researched now for our red Aztec. I don't see any blue monks for him to convert, but maybe he'll get some buildings. Oh, he's coming forward with a huge force. Did Vivi make a mistake here by taking basically 20 army supply away from the front of his base to try to do a base trade? You're not going to base trade with the 20 army. Okay, lots and lots of infantry here poking and prodding at farms. Not the best use for Mr. Yo, I don't think. But he is clearing up space. He is clearing up room. In the event he loses this ground, he is taking a scorched earth approach. He is demolishing all of the food reserves. Lots and lots of examples of this happening throughout history. Mr. Yo takes a page out of history. Attack Turkey still staring down this palisade wall. Oh my god. Okay, moving forward to the south with mangonels. I mean, he's I hope he's not hurting his own units more than he is this town center. Vivi moving forward with a very small army contingent. I'm not sure what he's trying to do here. Maybe kill some of these monks, but again, 75 HP on these monks. So instead of needing 3 swipes to kill the monk, he now needs 8 in order to kill the monk. So that is an incredible boost. That's why I call them the warrior monk civilization. let's take a look at where we were. Vivi, I think, made a big mistake sending his army east. And not, he may have been able to, army supply when he sent was more equal. Now take a look, Mr. Yo, 55 to 29. Much, much more in favor of Mr. Yo, but he's got, what does he have in here? 15 pike, 1 man-at-arms, 1 light cav, and 1 basic feudal age archer. So actual real army supply here is closer to 28, which is 10 obuchs. Oh my god, he converted 10 obuchs? That's an I don't know why the capture age clicked here. He converted 10 obuchs and 18 jaguar warriors. So his real army supply is closer to 30, although goes up with more monks, more mangonels. He is chasing down villagers, but what are these pike going to do against these villagers? They're going to just tickle away at their HP. Let's take a look at the stats. But overall, yeah, I think Vivi made a mistake sending this army here, but he definitely needed to reinforce his battle turkey. And oh my god, did it actually manage to destroy the palisade wall here, or is that an obuch? Probably an obuch. I'm of course just messing around. There is no such thing as a battle turkey. Oh no, jaguar warrior with 1 HP, desperately trying to whack away at these scout cavalry, will pay the price and die. But Mr. Yo just inserts himself into the center of his opponent's base, the ooey gooey center, and cannot be dislodged. There's nothing that Vivi has here. I mean, take a look at his resources, though. He was very close to going up to Imperial, but maybe instead of that, what he should have done is gone Knights. I'm not too sure. Like I said, sometimes we don't really know what happens behind the scenes with these players. Maybe some Vivi said at the beginning of the game, you know what, I'm just going to try to go obuchs. Let me do a meme build and see what I can accomplish with it. Maybe yes, maybe no. All I really care about as a caster is this a good game? Is it a fun game? And do we get to see a lot of really cool units, which in this case, we absolutely did. We got to see obuchs taking on jaguar warriors. Would have maybe liked to see elites on both sides, both of them fairly basic, both attacking on a 10, except remember, jaguar plus 10 attack against an obuch. Let's do a bit of a thought experiment together before we take a look at the stats. Bear with me here. We're going to do a little bit of math together. Obuch has 80 HP. A jaguar warrior attacks on a 10. Plus another 10, so it attacks on a 20 right now. The obuch armor is 4, which means every swipe of this crazy bat, this toothed bat, reduces 16 HP from the obuch. So essentially, he needs 5 swipes, and he kills the obuch. On the other hand, jaguar warrior 65 HP. Obuch attacks on a 10, but remember, this armor, this 1+0, will become 0 after the first swipe, and then down and down and down it goes. So what does he need? Oh god, this is going to be a bit too much math from you. Let's say 6 or 7 or so swipes of the bat. So fairly equal here. I'm surprised that it's this equal between a jaguar warrior and an obuch. Maybe in the elite version we would have gotten to see a bigger, because the jaguar would have had a plus, I think, 11 instead of a plus 10, but both of their HPs would have gone up. So that becomes more of a thought experiment. I leave to Spirit of the Law to do I'm sure he's already done a video about that, but for now it seems like they're fairly equally matched, at least in this particular game with these particular upgrades. Red would have done well to at least invest in some attack upgrades. Although remember, he does win the game, so when I say he would do well to do something, take that with a grain of salt. Vivi making a mistake, sending his army east, abandons the center and the north of his own base, and in moves Mr. Yo. Nothing Vivi could throw at him could handle these guys, these monks. I mean, I feel bad I don't know the name of the staff that they carry. I always call it a hockey stick, just because it looks like a hockey stick, but I'm sure there is an actual name for it. If you do know, let me know in the comments below, and I always like to be as accurate, as correct as I possibly can be, but nothing that Vivi could have thrown against Mr. Yo here would have helped. I mean, I've been harping on why didn't he go Knights? Why didn't he go Knights? But the reality is, if he had gone Knights, all that means is Mr. Yo's army would have Knights instead of obuchs, because they would have been just as converted by his monks. Remember, 11 monks at one point in the game. So I don't really know what Vivi could have done here to dislodge this huge body of monks. Maybe just numbers, maybe just quantity. If your quality won't do it, go quantity, a house with a well, secluded. This villager says, you know what? I'm tired of city life. There's always some crazy pikeman. There's always some crazy obu, some hammer, some instrument of war tearing down my house. I'm just going to build a house here. I'll get my own fresh water. I'll do my own gardening. I have a bunch of crates here with some kind of produce in them, a nice hearth inside, a nice warm glow. And I'm just going to raise my chickens, raise my family off the grid. And then we'll see what I decide to do. But 3 marauding Jaguar warriors may have had something to say about that idyllic life. In any event, let's take a look at the stats. Vivi building 60 obus, a nice gift for Mr. Yo, who himself only built at most 30 pike. APM fairly equal for both. Fairly low intensity game. Kill count also fairly relaxed. 88 kills for our Pole, 77 kills for our Aztec. Villager kills almost identical. But while we weren't looking, or rather while I wasn't looking, 5 relics for Mr. Yo. Let's see what kind of boost that gave his economy. Not a big boost, 1363. Take a look at the gold. Even without that 1300, he'd be sitting at 6,000 gold, or a little bit less than 6,000, which is a little bit less than double his opponent. Out lumberjacked by Vivi, but the other resources significantly more for Mr. Yo. So no surprise that he was able to afford his monks. No surprise he was able to afford an army supply almost double the size of his opponent. And his opponent, falling behind on villagers with the raiding, decides that, you know what, I did my best. I threw my army at him. Instead of fighting it, he just basically teefed the army, made it his own army. And now I have to contend with frickin' Aztec obus. I did not wake up this morning to deal with Aztec obus, says Vivi. Sees the writing on the wall. Attacking to the south is Mr. Yo. Attacking to the north is Mr. Yo. Inside the ooey gooey center of Vivi's base is Mr. Yo. And continuing to just be annoying, a pest, making sure that Vivi's villagers just have to run away endlessly and constantly. And anything that Vivi throws at him immediately gets converted. So Mr. Yo taking a strategic big W, but GG to both players. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips and make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so that you're notified of my latest uploads.